Hello, good morning and welcome to this brand new edition of the newspaper show on ET Now. I'm Cheryl D'Souza and I'll get you the top headlines on the Economic Times as well as the Times of India this morning. But before I get going with the top 10 headlines, here's a small message for all of our viewers from Economic Times saying that newspapers are safe. So if you're hearing rumors and you have WhatsApp forwards or it's all hearsay, the newspapers are not safe. So please do not pay any heed to those rumors. Newspapers are totally unfounded, they are not scientific and they don't have any rationale to it as well. Talking about the presses in Economic Times, Times of India, they follow strictly all the protocols, including the delivery agents and the vendors. They all follow their health norms. So there is nothing for you to worry to go and get your copy of your newspaper. So if you want Economic Times or the Times of India, do let your same, or else you can log on to www.wantmypaper.com and get your copy of the pink paper. But let me first get you through all the top headlines that's there on the Economic Times for you this morning. And starting up here, it's the top story, the exclusive interview of Piramal to Economic Times, where she's saying lessons of 2008-13 guided the stimulus. So that is the top headlines on Economic Times this morning. The exclusive interview with Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. What else is making headlines? The Finance Minister also went on to say the package will help create a demand. That is the other top headline coming in from Economic Times. Moving on, exclusive conversation with Rajiv Bajaj on Economic Times, where he's saying need mood elevators to revive demand. Moving on to another story that's there on Economic Times, duty on chemical and petchem imports. Next up, you have government that is working on NBFC. You have Bank of Baroda to monitor NBFC loans of all the lenders. Moving on to aviation space, private airlines to join in repatriation of the migrant of the workers that are stuck abroad. Moving on, railways to operate 200 non-AC trains from June 1st. And MCA moves Supreme Court against High Court order in IFIN case. And Odisha, Bengal brace for super cyclone Amphan. So that is the top 10 headlines on the Economic Times for you. But let me break it down and let me get to you the top corporate headlines is there on Economic Times this morning. You have Piramal that is in talks to sell $300 million worth loans. You have global Ps that are eyeing stake in Edelweiss arm. You have radio industry that is sought a 300 crore package. And companies seek SEBI nod to differ or merge the Q1 earnings. More on that on the show as well. And Siemens positive on India despite a virus gloom. So those are the top 5 corporate headlines coming in from Economic Times for you this morning. But let's talk about the market news and the market headlines that's there on the ET paper. You have Bharti Airtel that hit record highs yesterday on back of the strong Q4 performance. Moving on, you have Bajaj Finance Q4 net profit that's fallen 20%. You have Federal Reserve that's saying they're ready to use all weapons in its arsenal. Then you have RBI that may have to ease provisioning norms. Moving on, you have consumer goods companies that are eyeing rural sales boost. So those are the top 5 market headlines coming in on the Economic Times this morning for you. But let's not waste time and let me get you directly the lead story on the Economic Times this morning, and that is the exclusive interaction that is there on have to say. I will read her quotes directly off the paper for all of the viewers. The headline goes on to say that the lessons of 2008-13 guided the stimulus. Finance Minister they would help create demand as well. A bid to help migrants hindered by inadequate data. So that is the top headline of
from what she's saying, and I'll directly quote the finance minister herself.
And I'll directly quote the finance minister herself. She goes on to say that the money obviously is being spent for the initial starting exercise because it is a restarting process, and that is actually going to generate a demand that is also going to put money in the hands of people who will in turn spend. So strictly supply side measures also have a demand side component, and the ripple effect is something that will touch at the ground level so many segments of the society. She also goes on to say that supply side measures also have a demand side component. Like I mentioned, the ripple effect is something that will touch many segments of the society. She's saying assistance formula designed with everyone in mind. First, see where the money is going. Every suggestion which we get sometimes in video conference with industry, with captains of industries, with economists, with associations and so on has honestly been gone through. And that was the top story on Economic Times, the exclusive interview with a finance minister herself. But let's move on to another story that's there on Economic Times. I'm sorry for this, but yes, the government is working on NBFC package delivery. That is also another story that's there right here on the front page of Economic Times. Let me move on to talk more on the story. The story headline, like I mentioned, says the government is working on NBFC package delivery. Goes on to say is in talks with RBI to ensure most needy NBFCs get to tap the 30,000 crore rupees package. What else is this particular story talking about is that NBFC bonds rated between AA and BBB are in focus. TLTRO has not yielded desired results, as we all know. The NBFCs await for details on structure and invocation of government guarantee. They want bonds in primary markets to be a part of it. So what else is under consideration is that SEBI or SBI Group Co. may be operating agencies, and AIF formation is also what is under consideration for now. So yes, the government is in talk with RBI on how best to ensure that 30,000 crore rupees relief package for the NBFCs is targeted at those who need it most, and also particularly since lower rated paper of investment grade will be the focus, and that is as per sources to Economic Times. So that is the other story that's there right here on the front page of Economic Times for you. But let me move on from the NBFC space to corporate. The entire India Inc. is something that will affect all of them, and that is the companies have sought SEBI approval to either defer or merge the Q1 results. Their companies also have said to SEBI that losses could hurt borrowing capacity. FICCI, CII want easier pricing rules on open offer and preferential issue. But what else is a part of the story and what exactly the companies are asking for? I'm joined by my colleague Vivek Iyer Vivek, take us through all the details of this particular stories. Considering the pain that the companies are going through, they've actually sought SEBI help on this front.
Well, due to the ongoing pandemic situation and also due to the fact that so many of the companies have taken a one-time hit, a one-time impact due to the coronavirus, there has been a lot of speculation, there has been a lot of worries that due to the one-off impact, especially on revenues as well as the profitability on a whole host of firms across the spectrum, across the listed universe, there have been worries that there could be significant amount of worries as well as impact in terms of the borrowing that the company could take from lending institutions. So in order to overcome this particular hurdle, what a lot of companies have gone ahead and requested SEBI, and what they are saying at this point of time is that they could SEBI could look at postponing the Q1 results, and also what they are saying is that maybe they could go ahead and report earnings for 2 quarters simultaneously. Not only this, other industry bodies too have gone ahead and approached the SEBI, and what they're asking for is they are asking for relaxations in the rules as far as pricing of rights issues, as far as pricing of preferential issues, and also the other thing that they're looking at, especially given the fact that valuations are so depressed, a whole host of companies are actually looking at delisting. So what they're looking and what they're asking SEBI is that they're asking for certain relaxations in the reverse open book building process, and this is something that we need to wait and watch out for. This could mean that valuations, especially of a whole host of companies, could get a bit of a breather, given the fact that there could be quite a bit of a delay as far as the results are out, and also as far as the delisting open offer price is something that we need to watch out for.
All right, Vivek, thank you for joining us this morning, giving us a lowdown on that particular story that is there on Economic Times, that companies have sought SEBI nod for either deferring or merging Q1 earnings. But let's move on to page 3 of Economic Times, and here you go. There is an exclusive quote, an interview coming in from the Nestle, where Nestle is going on to say that adopting the social distancing norm at factories will hit output, and there you go. That is a big headline coming in from Nestle. But what else is the Nestle chairman flagging off? I'm joined by my colleague Winnie, who will take us through the story. Winnie, take it away.
Suresh Narayan, the chairman of Nestle, spoke in an online roundtable conference where he did say that Nestle's output will be hurt, the production will be hurt mainly due to the social distancing adopted in the factories. Now, this he's saying that, deployment can never be 100% in any plant, and, max to max they can reach 75%. So due to this, they are going to have to bear some cost, which is going to affect the company and also affect the production of the company. Now, moving forward, he also said that, people are quite confused with Modi's term saying vocal for local. So some people are inquiring from Nestle saying, are the products made in India? What is the situation? They have been facing some trouble with Nestle in thinking that Nestle is not making its products in India, and it has gotten certain inquiries related to that as well. Though the numbers, on terms of numbers, Nestle had reported a 10.7% increase in domestic sales, but the chairman is saying that they are going to be very cautious as the consumption trend is changing, and people will not buy any consumption discretionary products. They will also be seeing some down trading is what Nestle's chairman is expecting. So moving forward, they said that the manufacturing and supply chain was first an issue when the lockdown started, but now they are facing issues on the labor front as well as infrastructure constraints. So let's see how that actually pans out for Nestle.
Thank you, Vinny, for getting us the details of that the online media roundtable where the Nestle chairman spoke. Thank you for getting us experts on that, excerpts on that front. But let's talk about Flipkart. Walmart is saying that Flipkart's limited India operations will hit global growth. That particular story is there on the page 4 of your Economic Times. So, Vinny, take us through this particular story as well, and what is Walmart actually saying?
US retail giant Walmart in its earnings presentation said that Flipkart Limited's operations in India have negatively affected the growth in its international e-commerce business, and it counteracts for the good sales in Canada, China, UK and Mexico. So it has surely negatively impacted Walmart's business. Now even Amazon had mentioned earlier that India is one of the most impacted geography due to the lockdowns brought in due to COVID-19. Now Flipkart did have sales of other than non-essential items like food and groceries, but that's a very small portion of Flipkart's business. So obviously that is going to face an impact if we do not sell non-essential items. And the government restrictions on e-commerce business, anything apart from food and groceries, surely impacted Flipkart India's operations. Now Walmart India's e-commerce unit, however, has driven a 10 basis points increase in gross profit rate of its international business. So they've not specified exactly how, but surely they did say that the global growth of their international business was impacted due to India's lockdown in Flipkart. Now, despite the strong growth in Walmart, they said that that has created an unprecedented variability. So there could be some blip over there going forward as well.
Thank you, Vinny, for getting us details of that particular story. But let me now flip pages and go on to page 8 of Economic Times. Here you go. And this is the story that we are looking out for. And that is Bank of Baroda offers to monitor NBFC loan portfolios of all banks. So this is a big story indeed. But let me get you more insights on the story and what our reporters have filed from Economic Times. That's Saloni Shukla as well as Sachin Dave have filed this report for Economic Times. And it says that the Bank of Baroda is offering to monitor NBFC loans of all the banks. They are also saying that they will examine books of 33 lenders that include big names such as Bajaj. You have Bajaj Finance, Tata Capital, HDB Financial Services, Tata Motors Finance. You have MN Finance, KKR India, among the group of 33 of the lenders whose books BOB will go on to examine. Also, the total exposure that all of these 33 non-bank lenders have is about 4 lakh crore rupees to the entire banking system. Monitoring agencies would be assessing the asset quality, cash holdings, likely siphoning of funds, and also flag off any non-business transactions among other requirements. So this is another top story that's there on the Economic Times. But let me move on quickly to page 9 of Economic Times, and let me get you another story that's here, that the petchem chemical imports are likely to face 15% COVID tax. So big news coming in, and how it will impact the particular segment we need to wait and watch. But this is as of now that is there, that the chemicals imports may face 15% COVID tax, a domestic push levy to apply from May 1st, 2020 to March 31st to help the industry. So this is another story that's coming in on the Economic Times, a big story indeed as well. Need to wait and watch how it will actually impact the petchem as well as the chemical segment. But let me move on now quickly to the top 5 coronavirus headlines that you have on the Times of India for you right here. Here is the Times of India, but let me get you the top headline, and that is definitely the total count that is there all across India. If you see, new COVID cases have soared by 5,212. That is the biggest one-day spike so far. If you see, the case count in 5 states was the highest so far. So that is the top headline that's coming in on the Times of India. But moving on, Mumbai's slowest doubling rate so far at 11 days. The next headline that we have is 53 doctors in BMC hospitals have tested positive for coronavirus. And United States to send 50 ventilators of the 200 that they have, and India's death rate is at 0.2 per lakh, while global is at 4.1. There you go. Those are the top 5 headlines coming in on the Times of India on coronavirus. But here's a special glimpse of an interview that you will see later on ET Now, and that is a rare voice from India Inc. That is the ITC chairman Sanjeev Puri. He spoke exclusively to our managing editor Nikunj Dalmia. Here's an excerpt of that conversation.
As far as FMCG is concerned, I think it's slowly getting back to normal demand levels. It does vary across categories. We are seeing certainly good demand for the staples piece. On the pieces that can be classified as discretionary, yes, there is some amount of stress there. But at an aggregate level, I would say that as far as foods and personal care is concerned, I think largely at an aggregate level, it is coming back to a reasonable level already.